Good morning, Year 5. I'm feeling bright and breezy today. It's going to be nice and warm. Yeah, feel really positive today, so I hope you're feeling nice and positive too. We're starting to really get into this book now. I'd say we're probably just over halfway, so we're getting there. We are chapter 27 and chapter 28 today. We have left our book. Where did we leave it? Bradley went to go and see Carla of his own accord, didn't he? And he put his hand out and said, a pleasure to see you today. And all the times Carla had done that to him before, he just ignored it. So that was quite a big moment, wasn't it? Okay, chapter 27. She shook his hand. He walked inside, shut the door behind him, and sat down around the table. You won't believe it, he said as he looked at his picture of the green monster hanging on the wall. You just won't believe it. I'm sure I won't, Carla agreed. She sat across from him. She was wearing a sleeveless black and white checkered shirt. Okay, I'll tell you, said Bradley. I was hoping you would. Do you know where I was before I was here? No. He slammed his fist on the table. The girls' bathroom. He told her all about it, how the girl had used the toilet next to him and how he thought she had left, but really another girl had entered. At first I didn't know which girl was which, but then one of them screamed, so she must have been the one. Who was she? Asked Carla. Did you know her? Yes, but I don't think I should tell you her name. She probably doesn't want anybody else to know. That's very considerate of you, Bradley. He shrugged. Shall we have lunch? Asked Carla. Okay. He took out his roast beef sandwich. Carla set her lunch on the table. She had a carton of yogurt and a plate of sliced tomatoes and cucumbers. Well, that looks good, said Bradley. Do you want to trade? Okay. So they traded lunches. Bradley ate a slice of cucumber. He thought it was delicious. So what were you doing inside the girls' bathroom? Asked Carla. She took a big bite out of Bradley's roast beef sandwich. Jeff and his friends were chasing me, he explained. Jeff's got a black eye, just like me. They all think I gave it to him. Did you? He could have lied. He could have said, sure, I beat up Jeff with one hand tied behind his back. He knew Carla always believed whatever he said. No, I can't even beat up a girl, he said. Melinda Birch beat me up. Do you know her? No. You'd like her. She's nice. Carla smiled. Bradley ate a slice of tomato, followed by a spoonful of yogurt. I hid in the library at recess, he said. They couldn't beat me up in the library, even if they found me. You can't even talk in the library. Yes, I know. Isn't it amazing? What's that? The library. All those books, and they're all different, aren't they? Carla nodded as she drank Bradley's juice through a straw. I kept thinking about that the whole time I was in there, he said. They're all different, but they all use practically the same words. They just put them in a different order. Did you? Just 26 letters, he told her. All they do is move the letters around, and when they say so many different things. Did you? You'd think after a while they'd run out of ways to move them around, said Bradley. Did you check out a book? No, Mrs. Wilcott won't let me. I used to a long time ago, before I met you. I used to check out books and not return them. I used to scribble in them and rip them up, so she won't let me check out any books anymore. The whole time I was there, she kept watching me, saying, I don't want any trouble from you, Bradley. He ate another slice of cucumber. I just wanted to look at a book. I wasn't going to ruin it. I know, said Carla, and after a while, Mrs. Wilcott will know that too. I'm trying to be good, said Bradley, but nobody will give me a chance. They will. It just takes time. Do you ever play checkers on your shirt? He asked. Carla nearly spit out her juice. She laughed and shook her head. I like your shirts, he said. I like your socks, said Carla. Bradley looked at his mismatched socks. I thought I changed them, he said, befuddled. I hate socks that much, said Carla. See? She stuck out her legs. She was wearing white pants. She had on one white sock and one black sock. Bradley smiled. It wasn't his usual twisted smile, but one that was genuine. It was one that, up till now, had been seen only by Ronnie and Bartholomew. I know something good you can do, said Carla, and Mrs. Ebble will notice too. What? Homework. The smile dropped off his face. No, I can't, he said. Sure you can, said Carla. I can't. His eyes filled with tears. You can do anything you want to, Bradley Chalkers. I have a lot of confidence in you. He shook his head. But I can't, his voice cracked. Don't say I can't. As long as you say you can't do something, then of course you won't do it. Say I can. Say I can, and you can do anything. I can't. He was crying. Bradley, it's not that difficult. You're making a big deal out of nothing. If you want, I'll help you. I can't, he sobbed. Why can't you? She demanded. He wiped his eyes with his sleeve and sniffed. He looked Carla straight in the eye and said, I don't know what page we're on. Oh, Bradley, Carla whispered. Her eyes glistened. She stood up, walked around the table and kissed him on the cheek. Teacher kissing a boy on the cheek? Not too sure about that. Right, chapter 28. Bradley lay on his bed, on his stomach. He chewed the end of his pencil as he looked hopelessly at the arithmetic book opened in front of him. Next to the book was a piece of paper. The upper right-hand corner he had written, Bradley Chalkers, Homework, Arithmetic, page 43, Red Hill School, room 12, Mrs. Ebble's class, last seat, last row, black eye. His handwriting, which was messy anyhow, was made worse by the fact that he wrote with a dull pencil on top of a soft bed. He had stayed in Mrs. Ebble's class as long as he could after the bell rang. Bradley, it's time to go home, Mrs. Ebble finally said to him. He looked outside, unsure if Jeff and his gang of bullies were waiting for him. I have a question, he said. Mrs. Ebble eyed him suspiciously. What kind of question? He tried to figure out what kind of question he had. An asking question? I see, said Mrs. Ebble. May I ask it? He asked. Okay, she said reluctantly. He asked his question. What page is the homework on? The homework? Page 43. He wrote 43 at the top of his sneaker so he wouldn't forget, then took his arithmetic book and stepped outside. Jeff and his friends were playing basketball. He ran home. Now he looked hopelessly at page 43, shook his head and sighed. Question 1. What is 3/4 of 2/3? It was the most impossible question he'd ever seen. His mind wandered. Hey, Bradley, what are you doing? Asked Ronnie. Homework. What's homework? She asked. It's work for you to do at home. Is that supposed to be funny? She asked. No, really. That's what they do at school. They give you work to do at home and they call it homework. I've never done it before, said Ronnie. I'm doing it for Carla. Now leave me alone so I can concentrate. Question 1. What is 3/4 of 2/3? Why are you doing it for Carla? Ronnie asked. He sighed. Okay, I'll tell you, but you can't tell anyone. Ronnie promised not to tell anyone. We're in love. Really? Exclaimed Ronnie. How do you know? She kissed me. Oh, that means she loves you, says Ronnie. Are you going to marry her? Maybe, when I'm older. First, I have to do my homework. I'm going to marry Bartholomew, said Ronnie. I know, said Bradley. Now let me do my homework. Question 1. What is 3/4 of 2/3? Hey, Bradley, what's going on? Asked Bartholomew. Leave him alone, said Ronnie. He's trying to do his homework. He can't concentrate when you're talking to him. Maybe I can help, said Bartholomew. What's the problem? What's 3/4 of 2/3? Bradley asked. 3/4 of 2/3, Bartholomew repeated. That's a tough problem, all right. 3/4 of 2/3. Let's see. You divide 4 into... No. You multiply 2 times... No. Of means divide, said the donkey. Like if you take half of something, it means you divide it by 2. You divide 3 by 2 and 4 by 3. Bradley started to write that down. No, of means times, said the lion. You have to multiply everything. First you reverse the numerators, said the fox. You don't reverse, you inverse, corrected the mother cocker spaniel. I think you have to find a common denominator, said the elephant. Not for multiplication, said the hippopotamus. It's only for addition. Multiplication is the same as addition, said the fox, only faster. You cancel out the 3s, said the kangaroo. You always cancel out 3s. You multiply the 3s, said the lion. Bradley kept erasing and rewriting, rewriting until there was nothing but a big black smudge covering his paper. On top of the smudge, he tried to write 3 times 3 equals 9, but as he did so, his pencil tore a hole through the paper. The answer can't be 9, said Ronnie. If you start out with fractions, you have to end up with fractions. Sorry, my washing machine's in the background. I hope you can still hear me. Bradley slammed the book shut. None of you know what you're talking about, he cried out in disgust. He took the book, paper and pencil and walked down the hall to the dining room. His mother was sitting at the table, working a crossword puzzle from the newspaper. He plopped down next to her and sighed. She looked at him inquisitively. I can't figure out how to do my homework, he complained. Will you help me? His mother smiled. I'd be delighted. Let me see. She pushed his arithmetic book in front of her. Page 43. She opened up the book to that page and looked at Bradley's torn, smudged paper. Okay, first let me clear away the newspaper so we have a nice, neat place to work. While I do that, I want you to get a clean sheet of paper. I don't have any more paper. This is all I brought home. There's some paper in your father's desk. Get a sharp pencil too. He looked at her in disbelief. He wasn't allowed to touch anything on his father's desk. She nodded. Bradley felt a little scared as he walked into the extra bedroom which his father used as an office. He opened the top drawer of the old oak desk and carefully took out a pencil and a piece of paper. He shut the drawer, looked around, and then hurried back to his mother. She smiled at him. He sat down and wrote, much neater this time, Bradley Chalker's homework arithmetic, page 43, Red Hill School, room 12, Mrs. Ebble's class, last seat, last row, black eye. You have to put all that, he explained, in case it gets lost. She read the first question aloud. What is 3/4 of 2/3? He shrugged. Okay, she said. The first thing you want to do is write the equation. He still didn't know what to do, so she wrote it for him. She wrote 3/4 times 2/3. Whenever you see the word of, it means you multiply, she explained. Of means times, he said. Right, said his mother. So that was what the lion had said. Now you can cancel out the threes, said the mother. That was what the kangaroo had said. You always cancel out the threes. Neither of them noticed that Claudia was standing behind them, watching. That's not how you're supposed to learn it, she said abruptly. Bradley turned round and glared at her. You have to explain why you cancel them, said Claudia. And they don't call it cancelling, it's called dividing by 1. I just know the way I've learnt it, said Mrs. Chalkers. If you want, I can show you, Bradley, said Claudia. He looked at his mother, then back at Claudia and back at his mother. She knows the way they're teaching it now, said his mother. You'll help me, Bradley asked his sister. Sure, why not? I've got nothing better to do. Mrs. Chalkers stood up and Claudia took her place. Don't do it for him, said Bradley's mother. Make sure he knows how to do it himself. Claudia worked patiently with Bradley for the rest of the afternoon. When he said he understood something, she made him explain it to her. That was harder. He understood it when she did it, but then he had trouble when he tried to do it himself. By dinner time, they were only a little more than halfway through. Bradley wanted Claudia to help him after dinner too, but she had her own homework to do. You know how to do it, she told him. You can do it yourself. I need help, he complained. I'll help you, said his father. You will? Let's go to my office. We can work at my desk. Bradley couldn't believe it. They worked together. Bradley was surprised by how much his father knew. He made all the hard parts seem easy. Bradley was a little disappointed by how quickly they had finished. He had liked working with his father. He brought his finished homework back into his room. Oh, I get it, Bradley, said Bartholomew. You multiply the numerators and the denominators separately. But I still don't understand reducing. It's easy, said Bradley. Here, let me show you again. And that's the end of chapter 28. I do hope you can hear me over the washing machine. I do apologise for that. A massive change in character for Bradley, isn't it? I think we could see it coming in the few chapters before. But if somebody had told you when we'd finished maybe the first or second chapter that at this point he'd be going home and begging people to help him with his homework, I don't think you would have believed him, would you? Would we? So that's really interesting, actually. There's our 2 chapters for today. I just wanted to say I had a lovely email this morning from one of the children in my class, Imogen, who has created the most beautiful cake, or a very beautiful cake, for the virtual bake-off. But not only was I really impressed by her by her birthday cake, which she baked for herself, so happy birthday, Imogen. I was also really impressed with the little paragraph she sent me to go along with it and how positive she's feeling, and how, you know, happy and seeing a glass half full. She is seeing, you know, the beautiful things about life at the moment and keeping positive instead of feeling down and being negative, even though at the moment, you know, we can't go out and do things we want to do. She's still really seeing the positive. So well done, Imogen. I was really, really impressed to see that. It really made me smile this morning. And as I say every day, it's not too late to enter for the bake-off competition. Just remember that the deadline is Sunday morning, okay? So if you're baking, just make sure, if you've done it already even, just make sure that you email the office with a picture of your whole cake on the outside, and then a slice taken out, and sending me a picture of that slice too, and a little bit of information. Oh, there's a spider. A little bit of information about your cake with the ingredients, maybe its name, anything extra you want to tell me would be amazing. And then over the weekend, once I've got all the entries by Sunday morning, I'll be emailing the other judges, which are some other teachers at Highfield, to decide who will be in first, second and third place. So, a bit of a longer one today, so I'm going to leave you to it now. But I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the sunshine, and I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.